Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today. Starting with the usual Ethiopia, it seems. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's office announced Saturday that the government security forces had captured the city of Adigrat and was advancing on Mekele, the capital of the northern Tigray region. The Tigray People's Liberation Front said that 9 people had died among heavy civilian casualties during an assault by federal troops on Adigrat. The Tigray region has been facing a rebellion since earlier this month. On November 4th, security forces loyal to the TPLF attacked the northern command of the Ethiopian National Defense Force in Mekele, killing several people. While the TPLF claimed the strike was carried out in quote-unquote self-defense, PM Abe said the TPLF had quote-unquote crossed a red line and ordered a military offensive. Hundreds, possibly thousands, have died in the past weeks and more than 30,000 refugees have fled to Sudan. The conflict has also spread beyond Tigray, whose forces have fired rockets at the neighboring Amhara region and Eritrea. Meanwhile, the African Union announced it will send a special envoy to mediate between the government and the TPLF, which is also the region's ruling political party. The Ethiopian government, however, denied the visit was happening. Abiy has said that he wants to remove the TPLF leaders before negotiation. Abiy also appointed an alternative interim government to run Tigray. Well, it seems that Abiy's strategy is clear. He wants to replace the Tigray government with his appointed alternative in charge, and that is something the TPLF will fight against tooth and nail, as it's just simply a matter of survival and nothing more. Moving on, several rockets have hit residential areas in the early rush hour in the Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, on Saturday, killing at least 8 civilians and wounding 31, the police officials have said. The explosions came close to the diplomatic enclave, sent warning sirens blaring some embassies, and it comes 2 days before a major donor conference for Afghanistan in Geneva. Tariq Aryan, a spokesman for the Ministry of Interior, said at least 8 civilians had been killed in the attack and 31 wounded. A health ministry official said 5 bodies and 21 injured were taken to the hospital from the incident. Aryan said, quote-unquote terrorist mounted 14 attacks in a small truck and set them off, adding that an investigation is going on to find out how the vehicle came inside the city. Some residents filmed the rockets being fired and posted them on social media. Several pictures circulating on Facebook showed damaged cars, shattered windows, and holes in residential homes. One of the rockets landed in the vicinity of the Iranian embassy and several fragments hit the main building, but there were no casualties among the staff, the embassy said in a statement. Taliban insurgents fighting against a foreign-backed Kabul administration have denied involvement in the attack. However, the attack was claimed by the Islamic State militant group. I believe Afghanistan's government has got its work cut out for them, and I think that the Afghan government has to primarily work on intelligence gathering and the justice system if it wants the government to survive. Moving on, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will be meeting negotiators from the Afghan government and Taliban on Sunday amid signs of progress in their talks as the United States speeds up its withdrawal. The State Department said late Friday that Pompeo will meet separately with the Afghan government and Taliban negotiation teams in the Gulf state of Qatar. Pompeo will see Qatar's ruler Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and the foreign minister on his stop in the capital, Doha, the Taliban's base for diplomacy, the State Department said on its public schedule. The outgoing top US diplomat is on a 7-nation tour of Europe and the Middle East as President Donald Trump shores up late-term priorities. Earlier this week, the Pentagon said it would soon pull some 2,000 troops out of Afghanistan, speeding up the timeline established in a February agreement between Washington and the Taliban that envisions a full U.S. withdrawal in mid-2021. Trump has repeatedly vowed to end quote-unquote "forever wars", including in Afghanistan, America's longest-ever conflict that began with an invasion to dislodge the Taliban following the September 11, 2001 attacks. President-elect Joe Biden, in a rare point of agreement with Trump, also advocates winding down the Afghanistan war, although analysts believe he will not be as wedded to a rapid withdrawal. The Taliban are speaking to Afghanistan's government for the first time. The talks started on September 12th in Doha, but almost immediately faltered over disagreements about the agenda, the basic framework of discussions, and religious interpretations. Several sources told AFP on Friday that the two sides appear to have resolved some of the issues. Among the sticking points so far, the Taliban and the Afghan government have struggled to agree on common language on two main issues. The Taliban, who are Sunni hardliners, are insisting on the adherence to the Hanafi school of Sunni Islamic jurisprudence, but government negotiators say this could be used to discriminate against Hazaras, who are predominantly Shia, and other minorities. Another contentious topic is how the US-Taliban deal will shape a future Afghan peace deal and how it will be referred to. President Trump, it seems, is doing everything he can to end the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and also to withdraw troops from around the world. I wish he had done this earlier rather than now, but I still welcome the decision. Better late than never. Moving on, Senator Chris Coons, a Democrat from Delaware, said the U.S. has, quote, to prepare for the possibility of conflict with China, end quote. He said this could be done by, quote, being more active and more engaged on the world stage along with our allies, end quote. Coons also said he hopes a bipartisan U.S. policy forms to, quote unquote, outcompete China. While Coons stressed that the US and China are competitors, he also said cooperation in some areas is important. On Wednesday, Senate Republicans released a report calling for a more multilateral approach to counter China's influence by working with allies, echoing comments made by Biden just days earlier. The Trump administration has pursued an incredibly hardline approach towards China, which escalated this year due to the pandemic. The area that risks a military confrontation the most is the South China Sea, where the US regularly sails warships and flies military aircraft to challenge China's claims to the waters. Biden, Biden is expected to keep up the pressure on Beijing in South China Sea. One of the contenders to be Biden's Secretary of Defense, Michelle Flournoy, wrote in Foreign Affairs that the U.S. should have the ability to sink all Chinese vessels in the South China Sea, quote unquote, within 72 hours, as deterrence for Beijing's activity in the waters. Now, our situation in the Far East is very dangerous, and any misstep on our part, and we can go down the path of no return from a potential catastrophic war that I would not like to see. I would urge the politicians to be very careful of what they say. Let's not ourselves get carried away with another war frenzy. Moving on into Uganda, the Uganda's presidential candidate Bobi Wine has been released on bail, local media reported, as police said that the death toll in clashes triggered by his arrest earlier this week hit 37. Wine, who was charged with actions likely to spread the virus, is expected to appear back in court on December 18th, the Daily Monitor reported on Friday. Earlier on Friday, authorities deployed the military across the capital Kampala and surrounding areas to help the police disperse protesters. The security forces have arrested hundreds and used live bullets, tear gas, and water cannons in an effort to quell the unrest. Quote, 37 bodies have been counted so far, end quote. Police pathologist Moses Bearuhanga told the Reuters news agency. Police spokesman Fred Enanga said that the arrested protesters were involved in violence, including targeting members of the public who do not support Wine's National Unity Platform party. Uganda, a nation of 42 million people, is due to hold presidential and parliamentary elections on January 14, with Wine emerging as a serious threat to the veteran president Yoweri Museveni, 76, who aims to extend his rule to at least 40 years. Jesus, that is a long rule. Anyhow, Wine has amassed a large following among the Ugandan youth, attracted by his bold criticism of the government, often in his songs' lyrics. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb, reporting from Nairobi, said court proceedings may interfere with Wine's campaign rallies and could a limit of 200 people set on public gatherings set by Uganda's health minister and electoral commission. He said 4 other opposition presidential candidates have suspended their election campaigns in protest at what they say is unfair treatment of Bobby Wine. Now, these moves by Museveni are backfiring on him in real time. I believe there was no need to harass Mr. Wine for any reason, and now with other candidates dropping in favor of Mr. Wine, he now has a higher chance of winning the presidency. Well, all in all, I wish the Ugandan people luck in their coming election, and to all the candidates as well, good luck. Well, that's it for this video. If you like the video, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for future updates. Write in the comment sections your thoughts, criticism, and anything I might have missed. And I will see you in the next video.